Fantasmic is back. Is Disneyland back? Sure seemed that way at times today. We just took a complete tour around the entire Disneyland resort. We went through every land, every attraction. And I gotta say, I do feel like the park personality has changed. Join us today. This is our State of Disneyland report. Is Disneyland back? There's an energy happening right now on Main Street, Town Square. Before I start this show, there's an energy out here right now that's giving me vibes like things might be back today. I mean, it could be the Fantasmic. Fantasmic is back as of today. We'll talk about that a little bit when we get into the Rivers of America and Frontierland, New Orleans Square and all that. But beyond that, it feels kind of exciting to be here right now, I gotta say. And I'm not able to do the beginning of my show not like I normally do. In addition to Fantasmic premiering What's More again today, they're doing a special flag retreat ceremony here at Town Square, 415 flag retreat, and they've even got film crews out to film the whole thing. They've got everything sectioned off. You can't go up there. You can't go to, or I can't go up to the train station, the Town Square train station where I love to film up there. Can't go up there right now. So what we're gonna do is just get started with our vibe check down Main Street, and perhaps maybe by the time we finish all that, we'll be able to shoot up there once more. But there's your film crew right here. You got a couple of steady cams, a tripod. They're ready for a show, and so too our Disneyland guests. This is Main Street Disneyland at 3:57 in the afternoon on this Friday. Let's enjoy. Well, the music's louder than usual right here too, isn't it? Oh my gosh. They must have turned it up to 11. Disneyland's ready to party. If it's too loud, you're too old, right? Wow. Castor out. A lot of friends of the show out today too, man. I just took like 4 selfies. So, I mean, it looks, I guess it's about normal. We are post-parade right now. This is looking fairly typical. It's just the energy is so good. That's what it is. That's what I'm noticing. People they're ready for something, or maybe it's me. Maybe I'm projecting my super readiness onto this crowd right now. But certainly I am ready, and it feels like the rest of Disneyland is too. We're going to be covering Fantasmic here in full detail. You can count on that as well. But we still got a few hours to go for that. First, it's the State of Disneyland report. And of course, the first thing I want to do is check in on park accessibility, because it's an interesting story we're going to have for you today, because it's a very strange and curious and confusing development, and I want to talk about that. But we got to find first a place to do this with some, kind of a quiet place. I can't, man, where am I going to do this? I think I found a spot here at Princess Fantasy Fair, near to it anyway. It's not too bad. Let's start with the single day ticket calendar, because that's easy. It's wide open right now for single day tickets. You can get, you can walk right in right now and buy a ticket and walk into the park. I mean, it does say DCA start only, because it's 4 o'clock, so that's either park. It's a park hopper at this point. Here's where things get curious. Ever since our last State of Disney report, the calendar for May has been bleak, downright bleak, almost to the point of unmanageable. There was a stretch there at one point. I don't have any screenshots of it. I should be taking screenshots of these days every time. But there was a stretch for a few days where the rest of the month of May was booked. It was all gray, no pink, no blue. So, and a lot of that had to do with Fantasmic. That was my assessment, that, Fantasmic, people were booking their dates for Fantasmic. But lo and behold, we roll up today, take our first screenshot of the Magic Key calendar for the Inspire Key, and look at that. You can walk into the park get a reservation for today. Today, which is absolutely wild considering it's the first day of Fantasmic, and that's the kind of day that Magic Key holders flock to. Absolutely, that just goes towards the very clear and obvious manipulation of the system, the finessing that Disney does, the false scarcity that they're trying to create. It's not like a whole bunch of people just suddenly cancel, right? I don't believe that for a second. They unlocked a bunch of days. Today, it was either last night or this morning that they did it, because the day before it was gray. It was booked out. You couldn't get a reservation. Meanwhile, I should say also, I don't have screenshots of this either, but I have lots of anecdotal evidence for you. I've been trying to get a reservation for Fantasmic for Rancho del Zocalo to get the dining package. And people have heard me talk about this on live streams, etc., where I haven't been able to get one. Lo and behold, yesterday one showed up, and I got actually two, because the first one I got was for the second show, and I was happy with that. But then I kept going back and saying, I wonder if I can upgrade this. Went back up 2 days later, and I got one for the first show. I booked my Rancho dining package for the first show for a lunch reservation at Rancho 2 days ago. So they are holding back and then releasing. I'm not a big fan of that, but that's okay. That's Fantasmic dining package. Why is there reservations available today? I don't know. There's none for tomorrow. Can't get one for tomorrow, but you can't get one for Sunday. And then the rest of the week is booked up. Monday through Thursday for the rest of this month is booked up. So that continues. But I have to assume that they're unlocking these dates just prior to the day of the visit. So they're holding them. They're trying to keep them back for as long as possible, in order for single day ticket or multi-day ticket holders to buy those tickets. And then at the very last minute, they're like, okay, here you go, Magic Key holders. Now, this conversation, you know what, I'm gonna get into that. We're gonna do a little walk and talk, but let's first finish June. It's pretty fair, pretty open. There are some book days for the weekends, but that's pretty typical. It's actually not as bad as I've seen in the past. So June isn't too bad right now, but keep your eye on that, because it's gonna start getting booked up more and more, especially if they're selling a bunch of those $50 tickets, the kids tickets, which go on sale in a week, I think. Those go on sale in a week, and if Disney sells a bunch of those tickets, then they're gonna keep doing that system where they hold back available Magic Key reservation slots until the last minute, and then release them if they don't sell the tickets that they want to. And with that, I am now going to endeavor to do my best to articulate why this is an important observation vis-a-vis there being available reservations for today at Disneyland on Fantasmic opening day. Why is that relevant? We have observed, and I expect, we're gonna find out, my expectation is it's gonna be busier today than we've seen in the past month or so. That's our narrative for this afternoon, is will it be busier than it was for the past month? That past month, okay, this is where I'm gonna do my best to articulate things. That past month has been not busy at all. We have been going on and on about how the parks are slower than they should be right now. This today feels like it's about where it should be. Today I'm thinking Disneyland is back. Why then is it easier to get a reservation today than it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago? Why then was it more difficult to get, or impossible even, to get a reservation for a same day reservation on a day that is clearly not near capacity? Whereas today is a day that should be approaching capacity, or closer to anyway, and yet I can walk into the park. The message that I'm trying to send with that observation, hi guys, is that it has nothing to do with park attendance. It has nothing to do with Disney trying to control attendance. It has nothing to do with how busy the park is. It is just Disney trying things. They're doing things. This is the day where I shouldn't be able to get a reservation. Last week I should have been able to, and yet it's the opposite. And it looks like with that we've arrived at the entrance to Adventureland. Let's get into this show, you guys. Let's take our tour around the park. Hi guys. Every land, every attraction. starting with Adventureland. Expecting it to be busy today. That's my goal, or that's my prediction. Not packed, not full capacity, but busy. Oh my! Oh, you can see the Bengal barbecue right over there. Ooh, that smells good. If you caught our last State of DCA report, I made an observation going through Carsland about one of the nuanced measures that I determined if it's crowded, how dense crowds are, and that's how easy is it for me to walk in a straight line through any particular area. And I'm having some difficulty here doing that at Adventureland, although this is kind of nice right now. But man, getting through that first part past Tiki Room, which is a choke point to be sure. But already I can tell that the crowds are a little denser than usual. I was gonna stop, or I normally would stop and take a look at the Jungle Cruise, but as we walked by, I observed that the attraction is closed. They had ropes up. Let's just go ahead and investigate. Although it looks like they might be reopening, perhaps. But it won't matter. We can't do any kind of assessment. But Jungle Cruise was closed, which is rare. Jungle Cruise hardly ever closes. So we'll go next door. And I'm kind of shocked because Indiana Jones is showing 45 on the board. 45. That is much lower than I was expecting right off the bat here as we start our day. Here it is again, 45 minutes.
Is your family coming on your birthday?
Full queue though. This is filled to the brim. No, not quite. I take that back. There is a section back here by the serpents, the snakes, that they have not filled up yet, so they're not quite 100% full, so it could be 45. Plus things look to be pretty breezy up there on the bridge, on the ramp up. Looks pretty breezy there. I see a few lightning lanes making their way up, but it's not too much impact. Hi guys. Hi. But this is kind of nice. This is a go. I'd get in that queue. Fascinating. There, we're only one ride in, so it's too early to make any sort of evaluation in that regard. But I have to wonder, like, we've seen it where it's less dense in the parks, but the queues are long. Now the parks feel pretty dense, and the first queue is short. Plus, I just heard somebody say that Pirates is 25 minutes, that's fine. And it could be because they're not getting in queues; they're doing something else. Something that really Disney's really always been very good at is it's not just about the rides. There's a whole bunch of show happening around the park. So the attractions kind of they maintain a manageable level of busyness, while the parks is the streets and everything are very busy. Let's go test that 25 minutes. There are guests on the bridge, but it still feels pretty light. The last couple of trips through here we've seen where there was nobody even on the bridge, and it was just, a virtual walk-on. It was 10 or 15 minutes. Doesn't look like we're getting that today. Yeah, the posted wait time does say 25 minutes. As we mentioned, the queue is going up on the bridge, but it doesn't look particularly dense. It doesn't look unmanageable, not by any stretch of the imagination. And it does dead end right here. It's not running into the rest of New Orleans Square on its way to Haunted Mansion, which, by usual definitions, that's a busy day. So interesting. So far we're 2 for 2 on very manageable attractions. Now this is interesting. While we're here, we're going to deviate from queue management into, well, it's the first day of Fantasmic, right? And people are getting ready for that. It's 4:30-ish in the afternoon right now, and I want to show you guys how early folks are getting primed and ready for Fantasmic. 4:36 right now on this Friday afternoon, first day back for Fantasmic, and this rail that we're looking at right here is one of the places where guests will post up and camp out for Fantasmic. Those guests who are posted right now, I am certain that they're here, they're staking out their spot. This is one of the best spots to get in terms of the view. This little stretch right here along the river. The further you get towards Haunted Mansion, the worse your view gets, because you start getting the side, let me turn over, you start getting the side of the show instead of a front-facing view. So there's already guests here waiting, and then some of these guests on the rail here at the Rivers of America, not all, but some of these guests are also camped out. The spots get a little bit better as you approach this tree where this rock is up here, but some of these guests are camped out. 4.5 hours to showtime for okay seats. I mean, they're good, they're better than most, but they're not, you know, the premier spots, the spot where people would really camp out for. That's this spot, or this stretch right here, obviously, on the Rivers of America, which is presently stroller parking. But don't bother trying to camp out here. Just a little PSA for you guys, if you're fairly new to Fantasmic, don't bother camping here because this is all reserved for dining packages, Blue Bayou, Rancho del Zocalo, and Riverbell. So they're gonna move all these strollers out, and then they're gonna clear any guests out of here that are trying to camp out. You cannot camp here. But do get one of those dining packages. I mean, it's $35 for Rancho, and you get food. I got a lunch out of it, probably a $20 lunch, so it's $15 for my reserved seat. Done. Also, one of the popular camping spots is on the bridge, actually, for Pirates, the Pirates Bridge. This is very popular, but you can't start camping there until you know that the Pirates queue has dissipated enough where they don't run the queue up on the bridge. So you can, I guess, loiter for a while until they take those ropes down, but that's an iffy proposition. But that's what I'm talking about when I say that it feels like, you know, this is something of a we're back baby type situation that I'm feeling here. There's a lot of energy right there in front of Pirates, not just for people going on Pirates, but people getting ready for the show, and just a lot of positive feelings in here. And the guests that I'm talking to, they're all excited about this. It's gonna be quite a night, and that just goes to show you how important things like Fantasmic are to the overall health and well-being of Disneyland. You know, you could have that argument, the conversation, that it doesn't actually generate any revenue. There's hardly any merchandise. I don't think they're going to sell any merchandise because the merch that sells is the merch with the dragon on it, which doesn't really apply today. But you know, it changes the dynamic. It changes the personality of the park so much, and it's just been sorely missed. So I have a feeling that Fantasmic is going to go a long way to curing some of what has been ailing Disneyland. They can finish curing what ails Disneyland by expediting this little stretch of the park right here. Haunted Mansion, still behind construction walls. If you checked or saw our most recent construction update, you would see that it looks like they're starting to build now. They're starting to build. They're done digging, I think, I hope. They're done digging, starting to build. Things are going in a forward direction.
I know where we're going.
And then, of course, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Let's get this thing wrapped up. But I feel like, again, we've been making some pretty brisk progress. The most recent updates we've gotten from, on our construction reports have been pretty positive there as well. And that's it. You bring even just one of those back in the next couple of months, by August, September, and I feel like Disneyland is back. I mean, like, we're back, baby, back. That's what I think. I know there's a subset of guests out there who think that Disney's policies, their the DEI and all that stuff, that's the reason why people aren't coming to the park, and prices and the reservation system, and there is a conversation to be had there, but I don't think that that's enough. That does not represent a big enough percentage of the guests who are missing from the park. I feel like the the energy of these attractions that are missing and the shows that are missing, that's what's missing from Disneyland is the park itself. And I feel like if we get with getting Fantasmic back, and we get at least one of those attractions back, and I do think there's a chance that we get them both at the same time. But watch what happens. Watch what happens in September. There are definitely some guests that want Tiana's Bayou Adventure to fail. But I think the overwhelming majority of guests just want to have a fun place to go. They just want Disneyland back and have a fun attraction to enjoy, and they're not too concerned about the politics of it. Actually, I understated that. I think the majority of guests don't care about the politics of any of these attractions. They just want to have a good time at Disneyland. That's it. Fortunately, right now we have to include Critter Country in that list of things that aren't happening right now. So it's going to cut our tour short just a bit, and we'll be going directly to Galaxy's Edge via the Hungry Bear Trail. Looks like there's no canoes even boarding guests right now. That's too bad. I was hoping to see some river traffic. All we got is ducks. Oh my, a little bit of traffic heading down this way. Way more than I'm used to seeing here. Sections 4 and Sections 3 of Rise of the Resistance are sans guests. That's a great sign for those looking to ride right now. Section 2 is empty, or it's emptying. The last of the guests are coming out of Section 2 and entering Section 1. So full Section 1 and then the caves, obviously. Given that, I would expect a queue of, or a wait time of about 45 minutes, but then it'll probably show an 60 on the board, but it would be about 45 actual. And he's got a sign out. Look at that. It says 45 on there. I guess the board is down. That's great. I can actually read that better with this camera than I can the digital boards because of the frame rate. But yeah, so they got it right. It looks like they got it right. Empty queue here, so this is a go. That's a go situation for me. Contact, that's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. If you haven't seen Contact, check it out. Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey, a bunch of other folks. It's really fun. If you like, alien movies or movies about, first contact, that kind of thing, it's great. This feels a little busy right here, actually, for Galaxy's Edge, I have to say. Although, what are we talking about now? Jungle Cruise was closed, so we couldn't measure that. Indiana Jones was 45, Pirates is 25, and Rise was 45. So not busy. In terms of queue size, in terms of waiting, you know, in a queue, the wait times are light-ish, on the lighter side. But the park feels more dense. Obviously, look at this. Hopefully I've got some, you know, reasonable footage. I do these every 2 weeks, so I've got some reasonable footage to go side by side of what this looked like 2 weeks ago or even a month ago. This is certainly more dense than you usually find the marketplace. Of course, the Mandalorian does draw a crowd. People get so giddy to see the Mandalorian, man. It's great. No waiting at Ronto Roasters. Before we sit down to look at the tip board, let's just take a quick walk into Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. Wow. Guys, Star Wars is still popular. Wow. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm actually quite impressed. That's a fairly good crowd in there. All right, we're gonna run over here to Docking Bay 7 real quick, check out the tip board. Right off the bat, Alice in Wonderland. I was just gonna say 40 minutes, that's pretty strong, but no. Alice is actually 25 minutes. Astro Orbiter 30, that's standard. Autopia 20, standard. Return time in less than an hour, pretty good. Big Thunder 40 minutes, standard. Return time of 2 hours. That's nothing remarkable about that. Buzz Lightyear, 35 minutes, return time of now, not the least bit remarkable. Casey Jr. still running just one train, 15 minutes, it's probably not that. Chippendales, Gadget Coaster, now there you go. I can't wait to see, if Chippendales is 50, what could Runaway Railway and Roger Rabbit look like? But 50 is high, that is definitely high for Chippendales. Okay, Dumbo 25, that's about average. There you go, guys. First show at 9 p.m. We'll be there. I'm shooting 3 videos today, you guys. Construction, this video, State of Disneyland, and a Fantasmic video. It's gonna be a day. Finding Nemo, 25 minutes, standard. Hyperspace Mountain, 80 minutes, there you go. Now we're talking 4.5 hour return time. So people are definitely flocking to Hyperspace. Indy is still 45 and a return time of now. I find that, or now-ish, I find that almost unbelievable, actually. 45 minutes is a call to action. That should be drawing a crowd. Why is there no lightning lanes being used? Why is it at 5:25? Normally, Indiana Jones, the return time when we do this is for, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours from now. That is weird. Small World, 10 minutes. Return time of now. Jungle Cruise is, Jungle Cruise is back at 20 minutes, standard. Mad Tea Party, 10 minutes, standard. The Matterhorn, 55 minutes. I can't believe I'm saying this. Standard. Not standard is a return time in 40 minutes. They're not selling Genie Plus today. They're not selling a lot of Genie Plus, or they're not using it. Maybe I don't know. That's wild. 5:40. That should be 7 o'clock. 7:30, something like that. Runaway Railway 45. Gadgets is 50. Runaway is 45. And return time again of now, just like Indiana Jones, this is the most baffling thing. I cannot process this, you guys. 2 weeks ago we did this. The return time for Runaway Railway was 11 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. It was like 7 or 8 hours from the present time. And today it's now-ish. I cannot discern a meaning from that. Mickey's House is 20. Millennium Smuggler's Run is 15 minutes. Smuggler's Run is 15. Return time in half an hour. My goodness. Toad's 25. I love that Toad's has a higher wait time than Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I love that. That might be the single greatest moment in the history of checking tip boards. Right there. Toad's 25. Right there, the same frame. I'm going to screenshot that, you guys. Boom. I'm taking a picture of that. There we go. Just save that into my saved photos. That's awesome. I'm going to share that on the internet. I want to capture that forever. Peter Pan is 30 minutes. That's light. Pinocchio is 15. Pirates is up a little bit to 30. Return time in 40 minutes. Roger Rabbit. Okay, so Roger Rabbit is 40. Runaway Railway is 45. And Gadgets is 50. Return time in an hour. I am perplexed. Snow White 20. Star Tours 35. That's actually kind of high considering Smuggler's Run is 15. And Smuggler's Run is 15. And Rise of Resistance is 45. Still. Wow. And that's it. Take care. Gotta say, Disney is going a little bit off script today. I was calling a busy day, and like it has been busy in the streets, but I was expecting at least fractionally higher standby wait times than we're seeing so far. You know, in terms of what we've seen with our own eyes and what we saw on that tip board. But it could be, you know, that situation that I was discussing earlier. They're here, but they're doing things besides getting in queues. For example, they're loitering. They're loitering around Pirates of the Caribbean, waiting for Fantasmic to start. But I don't think that's enough people to make that big of a difference. And this is really light right here. Smuggler's Run went up to 20, but there is certainly a quiet countenance to what we're seeing here in Galaxy's Edge, outside Smuggler's Run, in this common area. This is not busy. One cool thing we can observe before we leave Galaxy's Edge is that guy. That is Bard, and I don't know how to describe it. From what I understand, he's some kind of DJ, I think. When they do the fireworks, you know, out here, and they play the John Williams music, fireworks are going to go off right there, right? But instead of it being silent and there being no music at all, like you get when you're watching the fireworks from the castle, we are getting, during Season of the Force, you get the John Williams score, and he's up there, he's your DJ, your MC. I don't know. I still have not seen that show. The times that I've tried, they canceled the fireworks, so I still have not seen that show. I'm gonna have to see what's up with Bard, or the Bard. I do wonder if that's a play on Shakespeare. Are they trying to make a nod to Shakespeare with that? I haven't looked at it. I only just heard about it the other day, and I haven't really looked into it in terms of if it's an acronym like R2D2 or C3PO or anything like that. But that's the first thing I thought of when I saw Bard. I'm like, oh, Shakespeare. Oh, is that guy? Sorry. I'm not here often enough at night to see these shows, especially not when they're, on fireworks nights, Fridays and Saturdays. I'm hardly ever here for that. Hardly ever. The nights that I am here are usually weeknights, which they don't. Anyway, let's continue our journey through the park. Oh God. It's Kylo and his hooligans. Why? He's staring at me.
Are you transmitting to
Uh,
a resistance spy?
I don't really know any spies. I'm sorry. No, I don't know any
Are
spies.
you transmitting to the resistance?
Careful there.
No.
I want every channel monitored. No unauthorized
That channel's fresh bake.
transmissions.
Yes, sir.
That's the channel.
Oh, no. The signal is scrambled, sir. Sorry. We're on patrol.
Break the encryption. Break the data pad.
Yes, sir.
I'm joining the other side, so troopers just arrived.
Understood.
Uh-oh.
That didn't go well.
No. Those guys are gonna kick your butt, though, I think.
Aren't you a little bold for a civilian?
A little bit, yeah.
Goodbye, citizen. You important.
I mean, does anybody know what to do in that situation? I need to know. Does anybody know what to do in that situation? I have nothing clever to say. Let's get out of here. Let's go to Fantasyland, where I do think it'll be significantly more busy in Fantasyland A and probably Fantasyland B too, for that matter. And for that matter, Fantasyland C, which is just the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn is its own entity. Certainly is a beautiful afternoon out here, isn't it? Southern California, Orange County is going through this stage that we go through every year where it's super gloomy and gray for the first, I don't know, until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's dull and you don't know how to dress. And then at about 4 o'clock, the sun comes out, it burns off, and it's, you know, warm and toasty. And now you realize, okay, I've got one too many layers on. This is why layers are important here in Southern California, because it gets really cold in the morning and really cold in the evening during the spring and summer months. As long as it's not humid, we're good. It's not too bad though. Fantasyland right now, so far, not too bad. There's Pinocchio poking out the threshold a little bit, so that's not quite too busy, but getting there. That's probably 15 minutes. Fair amount of open space here. Guys, what is happening? It took me a while for the picture to catch up with the words. Okay, so it says 25, and it's 5:18 p.m. right now. 5:18 p.m. While we wait for a few minutes in Snow White, we can observe Peter Pan out there. It was at 30 when we checked the tip board. It's probably that plus, I'm guessing. It's busier than we've seen the last month or so. That's a fairly typical, though. A typical Peter Pan queue, not a light one.
How glad to see Snow White, huh? Well then, to be sure you arrive safely, stay in your seat. Keep your heads, arms, feet, and legs inside. And oh yes, watch those precious children. Keep your heads, arms, feet, and legs inside.
5:23.
And oh yes, watch
5 minutes that was. 5 minutes to get to the vehicle. And then it took me 7 minutes to get through that whole thing. And in that 7 minutes, it doesn't look like Fantasyland has gotten all that much busier, obviously. I mean, just fractionally so, perhaps, but this is no big deal right now. This is no big deal. It was busier earlier today at like 10 a.m. Once again, though, beautiful afternoon here. Am I right? They had Toads at 25. You guys remember that? Toads was 25 and Smuggler's Run was 15. My favorite. But that's not 25 right now. Not at all. That's 15 maybe? 15, yeah. Oh wow. Okay. I love it when I can see it before you guys can. Posted wait time here says 25 minutes. Let's see if I can't show you. "25 minutes for Dumbo, the flying elephant." A delightful attraction, I must say. Hey! I very much enjoy Dumbo. Even though I don't like spinner rides, I enjoy Dumbo for the magic and wonder in the same way that I enjoy Astro Orbiter. But here we are again. Not 25 minutes, not 20 minutes. What did it say? 20? I think it said 25. That's 10 minutes, if that. It's a couple rotations. How could you not want to be on this attraction, though? Look at, you get to fly around on a Dumbo, and you got the Matterhorn over there. You get to see look down upon Fantasyland, a delightful place to get a nice aerial view of. I just love it. Magic. All for the low cost of 10 minutes, if that. Not very much at all, 10 minutes. This feels like a repeat. Just this Fantasyland part feels like a repeat of a month ago. As we come up on Mad Tea Party, we walked directly in, nearly, I think, didn't we? We darn near walked directly in. It's a one rotation wait right now for the teacups. Darn close to what we saw a month ago. I think we are prepping here for the 5 o'clock parade. The 5 o'clock? No, it can't be. It's 5:36. So the 5:30 parade. Ha! There we go. You can always count on Toontown, am I right? Let's go check in on Roger Rabbit. Posted 40 when we checked the tip board about 40 minutes ago. And he's still at 40 minutes. Let's investigate.
You ain't got the password, you ain't coming in. So hamstring.
Oh, not 40 minutes, you guys. Not 40. The back of that standby queue is a good 10 minutes longer than a typical 40-minute queue is. And you've got a little bit more influence here from Lightning Lane. That Roger Rabbit is probably closer to 50 or 60 minutes. Now it does seem to be a pretty light day for Lightning Lane, so that could help those standby guests who are in that queue. Put that on your list of things to remember when trying to figure out, because Lightning Lane is a bit of an X factor, it's an unknown. You just never know when a bunch of people are going to show up in the Lightning Lane queue and screw everything up. But one thing you could do is look at the tip board like we just did, across the board through the whole thing, and look at all of them, but specifically also your particular attraction, and see how long the wait is for the, how long the return time is for a Lightning Lane. If it's for now, then that means they're not processing. There's not a lot of guests out there. There's not a lot of guests choosing your attraction for Genie Plus. They might be selling them like we saw for Space Mountain, it's 4 or 5 hours. But then we saw that the return time was now for 15 minutes for Runaway Railway, and about the same for Roger Rabbit when we looked at it before, which means, that tells me that you should not expect above and beyond the normal amount of Genie Plus guests in that queue. So your standby is going to be closer to realistic. As for Runaway Railway, let's do a little investigation on that. A lot of folks coming in with me right now, but posted at 25 minutes. That's down from the 45 we saw earlier. If it's 25, we shouldn't find the back of the queue. If it's 25, we should probably go all the way to the third prop room, I would guess. Maybe even to the concession stand for the movie theater. But that is not the case. As I make that left in here, I can see that we are in the first prop room. So that's going to be more than 25 also. That 25 was a call to action. A lot of people have just, like I just showed you, a bunch of people came into the queue with us. Everybody is hitting this attraction now at the same time. You're already too late if you try to catch that 25. These guests are going to be forming the back of the queue here in a minute. That's probably going to be closer to 35 or 40 minutes. And they're still coming in. As long as that board says 25 minutes, you're going to see a river of guests come through here. So the posted wait times here in Toontown were really light, really attractive looking wait times, but they're slightly more busy inside the queue once you get in there. Up by 10 or 15 minutes, I'd guess. Streets here are, busy-ish, but it's keeping up mostly with what we've seen throughout the rest of the park leading up to this point. Busy, but not crazy. Not at all. Still a very manageable day at the park, but still, I would say the energy is quite high here. I'm still liking and digging the happening kind of vibe that's going on here. Minnie's house says 10 minutes. That's weird. Usually it says 30, and the queue's in about the same spot as it typically is, a little shorter perhaps. "30 minutes for Mickey's house." Now you recall Gadgets was at 50 minutes when we walked by, when we checked the tip board earlier. It's now at 30. So it's gone down by 20 minutes, but I don't think that's correct either. There's the back of the queue right there. I guess that could be a 30. I have never waited in this queue, I don't think, at that point. Typically, I'm a little more discerning when I try to ride Gadgets, but that could be a 30-minute queue. Certainly, it's not 50. 50 would be out here, which we've seen at times, but 50 would be near the threshold out here. Did you guys hear that? There's somebody loving Gadget's Go Coaster. That's great. Looks like Chip is drawing a crowd on our way out.
Do you want to play the water seat now?
Well, we're gonna have to do a pretty cursory check of Small World because Magic Happens is happening, but it looks like a straight up walk on, but that obviously could be Magic Happens happening. to borrow a phrase, there's nobody out there. Is it even open? I see guests back there. This is the most walking honest thing I've seen. Wow, considering the time of day. You know, 5:30 on a Friday and guests are just walking straight onto Small World. But that obviously, that's Magic Happens. Attractions that are adjacent to the parade route. That parade is like a tractor beam. It just pulls in all of the guests onto the side of it, especially if at the beginning or the end of the parade. You'll see that. You'll see people just kind of catch it. You know, they're on their way to Small World. Before they get on, they'll check out the end of the parade. Same thing happening right here. That's a pretty light queue. Man, go hit attractions while the parades are happening, man. That's such a great strategy. By the way, we didn't get to check in on Alice, and I won't be able to now, but the queue looks a little light. Queue looks about maybe 3/4 full, 2/3 full, about 20-45 minutes. Nobody in Lightning Lane right now for the Matterhorn, which is going to be a delight for standby guests, but that's going to pass in about 5 minutes. 45 presently posted. I have to kind of zip through here because the flow of traffic is swift. 45 standby right now, which is pretty light, but that's parade effect again happening there, and the fact that there's no Lightning Lane, that's good. But that's the first attraction people are going to go to when that parade wraps up in a few minutes or one of the first is, hey, how are you? Lightning Lane, or I should say Matterhorn, and that does include Lightning Lane as well as standby. But this is pretty light right here. Look at that, nothing. See, this is what I mean. Like, the last time we were through Tomorrowland, it was a lot like this. Or, I mean, I'm sorry, it wasn't like this. This is a lot more people coming through Tomorrowland right now, and yet the Finding Nemo queue is empty. The people are here. They're just not in the queues. Posted 20, but that is not even remotely close. That's the back of the queue right there. That's all the queue, and then that stretch right there, which is maybe 2 boats, maybe 2 boats, 3 on the outside. I was here a couple nights ago doing a video for our Tours Departing Daily channel, which is the channel where you can find videos of just me, enjoying the park, walking around. Not quite acoustic, but not quite a full trip report either. Tours Departing Daily, link in the description. But the wait that night was 40 minutes, and the queue was well into the risers. This right now is posted at 20 as of 6:05. It is 6:05 right now. Posted 20. And again, this is a virtual walk-on. There is no standby up there. There's nothing. That's Lightning Lane that's mixing in right there. And there is no standby. That's all Lightning Lane. Oh no, there's 5 guests right here. There they are. I found them. That's it, man. There's the back of the queue right there. I don't know why they're still holding Lightning Lane over here. For what reason, I don't know. Because usually they fill up, a lot of that stretch right there. But I can literally count the number of people in this queue. 30? Maybe 30, 40? 30 on this side, maybe another 30 on that side. I mean, again, I feel like this has become a running bit through all these State of Disneyland reports. We're doing these now, it seems like, well, there's 2 parades in the afternoon. There's a 3 and a 5. I mean, how can I not? I got to get here at noon. I got to start getting back here at noon because these 3 o'clock trips are really skewing the results a little bit, I think. There we go. Okay, now we're finding some gas. 55 minutes for Hyperspace Mountain. I feel like, those parade folks are starting to find their way a little bit. I want to see how, I feel like it could even be worse than that, actually. I want to see where that back of the queue is. Let's go up real quick. That's weird, that board is saying 45. Either one of those, I want to say that the 55 is probably more accurate. There's no way they would have gone down to 45 after the parade is over. Pizza Planet's getting some pizza sold though right now. How about that? Guys, there have been some days that I've come through here where you could not get a table. All this seating and you still couldn't find a table. Right after that, that's a pretty decent sized Lightning Lane queue there. I mean, it doesn't look like a lot, but they're going slowly, which means that there's already some guests there kind of standing by waiting. More coming in. Oh no. I mean, maybe 55, but I feel like this situation is actually getting worse. I feel like it was 45, it grew to 55. They just hadn't updated that one board. That is definitely a 55-minute queue. The door is bad news. If you start seeing the queue coming out of the door like that, or that it's about to, that's bad news. This is a no-go from Space Mountain, especially when we've already observed and seen that there is a Lightning Lane presence happening. So we got a no-go here at Space Mountain, but we do have news also from Space Mountain regarding single rider. They have changed their single rider method, procedures. They've moved the queue. You still enter through the exit just like you did before, but rather than going all the way through past all this crowd, past the gift shop and where the desk host is, and then you make that left to go down the hall, they're queuing guests up now. They're collecting those single riders here at the top of this ramp that runs parallel with the old Captain EO Theater. They collect the guests here, they queue them up here, and then they're handed a single rider pass. And then once they achieve enough room in the single rider space, those guests with the pass will take that pass through all of this chaos and then down and into the old ramp just like you did before. So you would still make this left down the ramp once you've gotten your single rider pass, but you have to have that in order to get admitted down at the bottom of that ramp. This test, what Disney's trying to do is move that queue out of the way from the exit and the people trying to get a ride photo and the desk guests, trying to move the single rider queue away from that, because on a busy day when there's like 40 or 50 guests in the single rider queue, it would run out and mix in with all those other guests, the guests exiting and the desk guests and all that. And so it was kind of a mess. It was kind of a disaster. So they're just trying this out to see if that helps to compartmentalize things a little bit. One thing it does do is draw more attention to single rider. A lot of people don't even know single rider exists, but there are 2 big signs right there at the top of the ramp that you see immediately when you walk in. You're like, oh, that's a thing. So I think it's gonna. Hey, how are you? I think that's gonna draw more guests into single rider actually. There we go. You know Tomorrowland is going to deliver some crowds, right? We got ourselves a 55-minute wait, probably more. A lot of folks here in this section, the entrance section, as it were. Although I can already see right now that Star Tours is still not pulling any guests. We saw 35 minutes on the tip board, what, an hour ago? It's a dead walk-on right now. Just nothing. There's 2 guests. 4 guests. Oh my gosh. In the exterior queue. Wow. Just roll on up to Star Tours, you guys. 5 minutes. Well, 10. There's 10 minutes of wait inside that attraction. But, oh my God, this is fun. That's posted 35. I don't know if you can tell if the frame rate is weird, but that says 35. There are literally 6 guests out here. Meanwhile, across the way, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters is posted at 20. This is where things get interesting. There's nobody in the Lightning Lane queue. It's been a minute since I've seen that. 20 minutes. You like to see that though, as a standby guest, certainly. If this is it, if it doesn't go all the way back there to Pixie Hollow, that might even be less than 20. If it goes into Pixie Hollow, then he might be closer to 20. That is with no Lightning Lane influence. So they are going back there a little bit. Yeah, there is a queue. They're not using all of it, but they are going back there. So yeah, you're looking at 20 minutes here probably. That's probably a solid 20, but it's going to be a quick 20. Buzz Lightyear goes quick as long as you're not getting, interrupted by Lightning Lane, which we saw none of that in the standby queue. I mean, in the Lightning Lane queue walking by. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Are they showing up for Fantasmic? I don't know. Fair amount of folks on Main Street right now.
Thanks for all your information.
Oh, you bet. Thank you. Hey, how are you? Hi, guys. All right, let's wrap it up. Frontierland. It's made of wood.
Another 15.
Yeah, this looks healthy right here. Nice and healthy. I'm gonna guess 45 minutes for Big Thunder. Wow. All right, there it is, 50 minutes. It doesn't look like a 50-minute queue, but it is posted at 50. Normally you see 50 minutes, you're gonna have a whole bunch of guests right here queuing up there, but there's not very many actually. This will be 35 if I were to measure it. But it all depends on Lightning Lane, which there is a moderate amount of. It's so difficult to check on this one because they moved the queue a while back. They moved the, where the back of the Lightning Lane collects, so it's hard to tell. But judging by the stagnant look of those guests right there, they're not moving. And look at, oh my gosh, it's just a stream of Lightning Lane coming in. Constant. As long as that's happening, these guys aren't gonna move. No, this is bad news. This is a no-go from Big Thunder. So I decided to save the outro for this State of Disneyland report because I wanted to see how I felt after seeing Fantasmic. I've been here since 9 this morning and it's now 10 o'clock and it's been a long day for me, but I feel great. Trying to do this as we make our way through Main Street after the fireworks show. To answer the question about whether or not Disneyland is back, maybe it is. For me, it is. Having seen Fantasmic just now and feeling the vibes that we felt in the park today, I feel pretty good about saying that Disneyland is back. And if it's not back all the way, certainly it's not back all the way, but at least it's on its way back, I should say. We're on the right path. Things are looking great. It wasn't as crowded as a regular Disney park might have been, but the energy was high. It's been high all day, and you guys, walking out of there, we shot our outro for the Fantasmic show over there at Tiana's Palace and walked out while the fireworks were happening. It's so good to see the massive crowds there on the Rivers of America between shows or getting ready for the next Fantasmic show with the fireworks. I'll show you this scene here in a minute. Being able to get that discount at Pirates of the Caribbean while Fantasmic is happening, it's all happening, guys. It's back. I feel really good about this. What a great night. It's just fantastic. So, in my opinion, for me at least, I know I don't speak for everybody, but I feel like I can say that this is as good as I've felt about Disneyland in a very long time, and it feels great. Disneyland is back, baby. Disneyland's back.
Again with the flat tire.
Please help me, right?